to the Real Knits podcast. My name's Rhiannon, and I'm a knitter living here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with my wife and cat. I'm a knitter, but I'm also a sewist, and this video is part of a series I'm making in honor of, for Me Made May, hashtag Me Made May, which is where people who make their own garments celebrate, making things for themselves to wear. And so this video series is about my slow fashion journey. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about developing a personal style. In order to facilitate that conversation, I have brought out a whole bunch of my clothes, which feels very funny to be showing off my clothes, but I think it's something I need to do in order to really demonstrate what I'm talking about when I say I've been, understanding my style better since I started making my own clothes. As I mentioned in a previous video, I will be often looking away from the camera in this series, so if that bothers you, I apologize. But I have taken extensive notes and just want to make sure that I'm covering all the ground that I intended to. So I will be looking down at my notes, and probably in this one at least looking at the objects themselves. So let's dive right in. The first thing is that I want to talk about is how I started making my own clothes, because I think that is where my sense of style sort of begins, but also it sort of motivated me to start making my own clothes too. So I would say I think I knit my first sweater in like 2018. It may have been 2017. I know that I knit it kind of over the course of a year. I thought it was like this massive project, and it was funny because that same year I knit like a throw blanket and that didn't seem like such a big deal. I mean, it took a long time, but I didn't think it was as much knitting, which is funny, and I've always been kind of a quilter. I mean, I think I'm more into the piecing together. So I've always done some sewing. In fact, I distinctly remember my grandma and my great-grandma teaching me how to sew by hand and how to sew with a machine when I was pretty young, probably before my teenage years. So, I've always kind of understood in theory that making clothes is something I could do. My mom did make me some clothes when I was, pretty little. I think that, as I got older and I wanted to just fit in with my friends, that sort of tapered off. So, I didn't have anything really made for me specifically that I made. And I didn't really think that I would ever make my own clothes, but I met a fashion designer when I was in graduate school. So I was in the same program as someone who was married to a local fashion designer, and she introduced me to the idea of slow fashion, really, and sort of some of the core concepts behind what makes fast fashion bad. What does it mean to make clothing? And so she was I would say really instrumental in getting me kind of thinking about this journey. And before I started making my own clothes, I think it's also worth mentioning, I wore a lot of black and gray. And I think I see a lot of people wearing a lot of black and gray. And sometimes I wonder, do they love those colors, or is it just what's available? Because in my case, it was often just what was available. I wore jeans, I wore black and gray sweaters. I would buy whatever sort of fit me and worked and met my needs. I often thought that my style, my style was more classic, or that sort of like conventional, like chic, right? Where you have black and white stripes and you have polka dots and you have a little bit of a French vibe, a little vintagey vibe. And I thought that was like the extent of my style, was black, white, and maybe the occasional splash of red, because that's sort of what's available in the ready-to-wear world. If you don't like the sort of things I didn't like, right? And oftentimes, you know, companies will release a collection every year, or nowadays every 6 weeks or whatever. And they will have, you know, a sweater that's available in sort of like black, white, gray, one of those colors, maybe, you know, 2 or 3 of those colors. But then they will have a very specific shade of fuchsia or a very specific shade of yellow, because that's what's been decided is like the in color at the time. And so if you're not into those colors that are like trending, you end up just buying all the black and white and gray. And then, you know, I've always liked to mix and match my wardrobe. I think it brings me joy to come up with new combinations. And so again, you know, black and white and gray and, you know, the occasional splash of color is a good way to make that happen. So I think the first thing that happened when I started to make my own clothes is, I mean, you know, really started to think of myself as someone who was going to make their own wardrobe, and got serious about like, okay, this is a commitment of time, money, learning, etc. that I'm going to make, is that I was able to let go of a lot of style topologies. And what I mean by that is these sort of ideas that your style is either classic, or it's, you know, boho, or it's something else, right? And I think that always trying to fit myself into that sort of like fashion magazine definition of style was really hard, because I like some of the silhouettes of what they considered boho or whatever, but like I hate some of the colors. I hate, you know, like things like excessive leather fringe. I'm just not into it, you know, and it's not that I don't think anyone should wear it. It's that for me, I don't feel like myself in that. And I do like things with very clean lines, but I can appreciate like a ruffle, or I love lace. I love, you know, there's other things, right? There's so much more to it. And then a lot of times when you are trying to fit your style into those typologies, you have to kind of like deny that you do like some other things that belong in other places, right? So for me, I think getting rid of that and in general, getting rid of like these prescriptive ideas about what your style should be has been kind of a revelation. I don't think that it was like running my life, you know, but I think that it definitely influenced the way I would shop, the way I felt like I could present myself. And now I obviously can wear a shirt that is, you know, covered in bright red cherries, and it's kind of, I'll just show you this. So this is a good example of like, this is very patterned. It's got a lot of color in it. And this is a shirt I made. And I actually made this with the pattern Wixton, and then I remade it because I hated the fit. So I just cut the sides right out. I did I don't know if you can see it, but I did a split hem on the bottom. Just chopped the sleeves significantly and made it more of like a cap sleeve type, more fitted garment, and I love it now. So I'm glad it's warm out because I get to wear it. So, you know, I think it's just an example of, you know, the tailoring on this maybe isn't something you would find in a ready-to-wear garment with this sort of pattern. I don't know why not, but in my experience, you kind of get either, you know, solid colored tailored things, or you only get patterns that are very rigid, like we only do Swiss dot and we only do stripes, and they have to be this kind of stripe, you know, or it's like, yeah, I mean, or you get like the pattern, but then it's like this big blousey, like voluminous thing that makes you look like a cupcake. So I think I've just been like letting go and like shedding these ideas. And so here's a list of ideas that I am no longer subscribing to. Style topologies, I mentioned. Seasonal palettes, like fuck that. Like I can wear whatever color I want whenever I want. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Time-based trends, no way. Like, no way. Style topologies based on the shape or size of your body. Also F that. My only caveat to that is that I'm very short, and I do look for what clothes will look like on a short person. I think that's to me not the same as saying that like fat people shouldn't wear this color or this style. I think that's just the reality is I'm short. I can't, I will never, that will never change about my body. Like my weight may fluctuate, my shape may change over time. In fact, those things are guaranteed to happen. And I will never be taller. So I do kind of pay attention to like, does this look good on a short person? Because I don't want to look like a kid wearing, some like an adult clothes. When you were small, did you ever steal like your dad's t-shirt to sleep in? That I don't want to look like that. And I think if somebody else does want to look like that, or if they're okay with that, that's fine. For me, that's the one caveat I have to like the kind of based on your body style. But generally like saying that like, if you're pear-shaped, you should dress like this, or if you're apple-shaped, you should dress like this. I think that's bullshit. I think that people look good in the clothes that make them feel good. Period. I think stupid binaries. So what I mean is like, are you a prince gal or a solids gal? Like that's a stupid binary. I mean, you can like both of those things, or, bolds versus neutrals. Like maybe I like bold colors and neutral colors, like duh, who cares? I think undue worship of the French belongs on this list because I see a lot of things about how French women are like the best dressers, and like French women are so chic, and they're just boring. Like it's like, no, she's just young, thin, and pretty. Like she's just wearing a black t-shirt, like calm down. I have let go of what qualifies as feminine and just general gender idiocy, because I think that, again, we just have so much crap in our culture, and it's nothing new. It's been around forever, as long as there have been written histories, but that these colors are for these people, based on their chromosomes, or based on, something that you're assuming anyway. And the idea that like people need to look a certain way because of what you think their reproductive function is just freaking weird. Like it's just super weird. To some extent, I think I'm sort of letting go of the idea that like you have to wear these shoes with this outfit, or you have to have a certain pair of shoes. I have found that I only like about 5 style of shoes. I like a strappy leather sandal. I like a ballet flat. I like a Chelsea boot, and I like a cowboy boot because I'm a Western gal. And I can't think of so maybe I only like 4 shoes. Oh, and like a nice plain tennis shoe. Like I have some, those like just navy blue Allbirds. They're just very boring and bland, and like they go with a lot of things because they're boring and bland. So those are the shoes I like. I'll show you. This is the fanciest shoe I will ever wear. Here. I no longer do heels. This is the closest to a heel I'll ever come again. And when these shoes crap out and I'm done with them, that's it. I wish there were more options for me shoe-wise that, I love. Like I had a pair of red patent leather shoes that had a wedge heel, and they were like chef's kiss to look at, but they felt horrible, and I should have got rid of them before I did, but I kept them because they were cute. So like shoe manufacturers, hello, where are my red patent leather ballet flats? Come on. Like they could be Naturalizer. You could make a red patent leather shoe that was comfortable. Just saying. Dansko, get on it. Maybe not Dansko. Maybe. Anyway, I think the idea that you have to have like shoes for everything is something that I'm, waging my little like one woman revolution against. So the other thing is that I'm starting to realize that like my style is just mine, right? Like I like sometimes I like things that are romantic. Sometimes I like things that are classic. Sometimes I like things that are sporty and bold and sometimes I like things that are like boring, and you know, like I have a gray cotton sweater that's ready to wear, and I just wear it around the house a lot. Or I wear leggings a lot around the house. Like sometimes I want things to be, I just care about comfort. You know, it really depends on how, like, my mood that day. And you know, I think I do definitely have a, I guess, a tendency to feel like I get more energy when I, you know, if I wake up in the morning and I shower and do my makeup and do my hair, maybe do my hair, like today I'm letting it air dry because it's gonna be hot, and put on a good outfit, then I feel like I get a lot of energy out of that. And so, you know, to me, it's like part of my style component then is that, you know, I like what I like, and there's certain clothes that make me feel energized and make me feel like I'm prepared for whatever's going to come my way that day. And so the way I dress for work and the way I dress at home on a non-work day are not super different, unless it's specifically like, this is a vacation day, I'm gonna lounge around and just be totally lazy. So, you know, I don't like to wear sweatpants all the time, but I do like to be comfortable all the time. So that has become, I think, a real like crucial piece of how I choose what I'm gonna make. I think, you know, fit and function matter more than anything else, and something that becomes more critical, I think, or that just feels more critical to me over time is the relevance to the weather. So let's talk about some of these things in my wardrobe, because I think there's a lot here that I can talk about, silhouettes and colors and things like that. So like I said, I'm not into style topologies. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how I can do this and stay in the screen, keep my head in the screen essentially, and then also show you. So I have this rack I got from IKEA, and I've been hanging my shawls on it, and I have one of those, like, anyways, I put my sweaters, my knitted stuff on here usually, but I've brought out some things that I wear a lot of, and I'm gonna first start by talking about which pieces are ready to wear. So this is ready to wear, this is ready to wear, these two are ready to wear. So that's 4, 5, 6. So 6 of the things on this rack are ready to wear, and the rest is stuff that I have made. I've either knitted it or sewn it, and it feels pretty amazing to look at. These are my favorite clothes to wear, and to say, like, I've made most of these. So let's talk about that for a minute. As you can see, I do not have a color palette that is limited in any way, shape, or form. I do think I love certain colors a lot, and I think blue and red are the most notable. I have also been aware recently of how much I love brown. So this is wrinkly because I actually pulled it up off the floor. Sorry about that. But this is the Weekender Light that I knit in brown, and I love this one. And I knit this one when I realized how much I love brown and wear brown. I also have the Horchata Cowl, which is kind of it's like a weird like pink brown. It's, yeah, the yarn color was called Hazelnut Gelato, so I had to have it because, yum. And the this, you know, ready to wear sweater is like one of my favorites of all time. I'm totally gonna knit a sweater in that color. And then, you know, I do wear some black. I do. This is a dress I got from a company called Turn Black, and everything they make is made out of this same fabric. So they have like well, maybe they have like 2 fabrics, maybe like a cotton linen blend, and then one that's like just cotton or just linen or something. So this is the cotton linen blend. This is a really nice, comfortable dress. It's actually a summer dress, even though it looks like it's heavy. It's not. It's very light. It's very flowy. I might want to actually belt it sometimes, but it's this really great company. They do everything in the same fabric. It's easy to get your size because you can send them your measurements. If you don't see a size on their site that fits you, you can just send them your measurements and they'll, make it fit you. A lot of their clothes are not, gender specific. They're not very prescriptive in terms of gender. So, this you could wear as a dress, you could wear it over pants, etc. But yeah, and I obviously like dark blue. I have a thing for dark blue. I'm starting to just really love this. I've always loved this color, okay, but I want to like wear it more. It's this kind of like seafoam green, somewhere between like a sage and an aqua is what I would say, because I know that sometimes colors don't appear on the screen the way they truly are, and sometimes they don't. Like when I say seafoam, you think of a different color. So yeah, like between a sage and an aqua, this is another Wixton shift dress that I just made. I actually need to wash it because it probably has chalk somewhere on it. Yeah, let's talk about, these are my Zuri dresses. I love this company. I love their dresses. I'm super into Ankara fabric. I think I mentioned this in one of the previous videos in this series, but before I started making my own clothes, I didn't think I really liked patterns because a lot of the patterns I was presented with were not my style. Turns out I love West African prints. I love these patterns. I love the colors they choose. I love the way that color is layered to create dimension on a two-dimensional piece of fabric. It is like, I think these flowers are a good example of that. I love the way that it can be a pretty, basic color combination, black, white, and blue, and still come out looking like a really dynamic piece. I think the combination of bold and neutral is beautiful. I love the shape of these dresses. They are universally flattering. My one, I guess, complaint about them is I can't wear them year round because the sleeves don't layer very well with sweaters. So I'm probably going to be buying some of their sleeveless dresses to try out. They don't always have all of their prints in sleeveless, and I'm gonna ask them why, because there are some gorgeous prints. And if I could only shop one place for the rest of my life, it would be that company. They do have now some solid dresses too. So if you're like, I don't know about these prints, but I like just the shape of the dress, I would say check it out. This is like the first skirt I ever made myself. And it's just a really basic skirt with a elastic waist. It's elastic in the back and flat in the front. That seems to be a combo I really love. I like the fit of, I like the way it feels. This is my #1 favorite skirt. I wore it in the previous videos in this series. Again, flat front, elastic waist. I get so many compliments when I wear this. I think people are not expecting, that's part of it, is people are not expecting a blue this electric to just like walk into their lives. And then everybody loves it. I feel like it makes me feel good that it's the sort of thing that like women compliment me on, older women compliment me on, sometimes younger women, but like, I think there's something about the kind of compliment and who it comes from. It's not like a trend piece. It's not like a, it definitely does not like cater to the male gaze, which I know that seemed to have touched a nerve when I mentioned that before, but yeah, that's a real big component of fashion, women's fashion. And then I have my, knitted sweaters. So I don't know, I thought I would just show all of those to you to kind of give you a sense of where I'm at in my making right now. I have the beginnings of a shawl wall. If you have not seen Amy Palco's video series on her shawl wall, I highly recommend it. It's fantastic, and I have been so inspired. I'm like, I gotta get cracking on making these shawls. In summary, I just want to say that, you know, showing you some of these things, I know I didn't have a very like structured way of talking about them, but I just wanted you to get kind of an overview of, you know, how much my my Me-Mades mean to me, because it turns out that the majority of what I love to wear is in that category now of things I've made for myself. And I think having the power to choose, you know, the color palette and the type of print and the style has just been, you know, really freeing for me. And I'm aware that it's just like a huge privilege, you know, to be able to dedicate the time and money and effort. You know, I think it's a privilege to have the space and freedom to fail, because I definitely have sewn things that are like a big fail. And I want to, you know, encourage you to just sort of think about what beauty norms or fashion norms have been handed to you and spoon-fed to you. And, you know, if you can think of some that you want to let go of, like comment below with that. I think that would be awesome to have a discussion about that. And, you know, also if there's a color you love, I would say embrace your color. So I embrace blue, obviously. I have a year-long knit along where I'm just knitting as much blue as I can, because, you know, what you can't see is that I have, you know, I'm swatching with blue. I've got a blue couch. I've got blue all around me, all around me. In every room in my home, there's blue, and I love blue. And I want to wear even more of it. I'm wearing a blue shirt and blue pants right now. I don't think you can have too much. I also really love red. And I think there's something like amazing about when you see people who have a favorite color and they really lean hard into it. It's like the way that shapes their fashion journey is actually really amazing. Like, I'm a huge fan of Gigi Made It. You know, she's the iconic orange lady, and I think she has changed so many people's perspective on the color orange. And she also has combined, I've seen some of the things she's knit where she's combined orange with sort of like a beigey soft fawn brown, and I'm like, I didn't even know that would work. And you know, you know, kind of like the stuff that she's knit, you know, where it's more of a yellow marigold orange with like a deep rusty orange. Again, didn't know that color combination even existed. You know, she has done amazing stuff, just really leaning hard into her love of a particular color. You know, other people who I think do that a lot that I have been a fan of is, you know, Carolyn, who is Dunder Knit. She's really into gold. You know, Skandir Knits, I love that she's into red and blue as much as I am. I think she has a very strong like burgundy red, whereas, you know, I'm more into the cherry red. But you know, she has a very strong color palette and will make, I love that she will make 9 blue sweaters. She will make a Marius dress and a Marius sweater and a Marius, you know, everything, t-shirt, whatever. You know, I love to see somebody who's just like so thoroughly aware of what they love and what brings them joy. I also love Daniel, who is mostly Badfly on Instagram. They're a designer, and they also make like just beautiful things with like purple and turquoise that are like, those are colors that bring me joy just to look at, you know. And I think like seeing somebody just embrace that and go like, yeah, these are my colors. I'm gonna make purple and turquoise. I'm gonna put them together. I'm gonna make something purple, or, you know, it's like, it's so counterculture, right? To be just like, this is what I love, and I'm gonna like make things that I love, versus this is what's trendy right now. These are the colors that are, you know, Pantone's color of the year or whatever. I think there's something amazing about being free from that and just saying like, no, I want to make things in my color. So that's pretty much it that I have to share about this. I will be using this in another video, so stay tuned for that when I talk about my experience at the moment of shopping, making, remaking. All right, bye.